Go. All right. So I'm going to place my hands on my heart, close my eyes, taking a deep cleansing breath of love and gratitude. So much love, so much appreciation for what is, for Course in Miracles, for the teachings of Jesus, for this beautiful supportive group. So grateful to be witnessing and expecting and enjoying the ordinary miracles of every single day. Grateful for our willingness to remain open-hearted, open-minded, and our desire and declaration that we are shining away any and all blocks to love, that we are allowing Holy Spirit to dissolve them and resolve them back to the root cause. We are grateful to be able to come together each week to love and support each other, and know that that love and support is being shared with all the world. We're grateful for our mighty companions, our earthly and heavenly helpers. We ask that they bless us, that they bless the technology we get to use to come together, that they bless this conversation today. They bless everyone here and all who may listen later. We're grateful to be able to share those blessings. The awakening awareness within us and the love that we are with everyone because we are one with them. In grace and gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. So we are in chapter 28, section 3, the agreement to join. And I'm going to do a little bit longer reading today because I was guided to it, but in 2 different books. So I was guided to just start us off with the very first paragraph where he says, "What waits in perfect certainty beyond salvation is not our concern. For you have barely started to allow your first uncertain steps to be directed up the ladder separation led you down. The miracle alone is your concern at present. Here is where we must begin, and having started, will the way be made serene and simple in the rising up to waking and the ending of the dream. When you accept a miracle, you do not add your dream of fear to one that is already being dreamed. Without support, the dream will fade away without effects, for it is your support that strengthens it." And in that reading, what I was drawn to was the word miracle. So in the workbook, the big one, the big blue workbook, in my book, it's on page 463. It's section 2, number 13, what is a miracle? And I'm just going to read a little bit from this. But he says, a miracle is a correction. It does not create nor really change at all. It merely looks on devastation and reminds the mind that what it sees is false, and undoes error, but does not attempt to go beyond perception, nor exceed the function of forgiveness. Thus, it stays within time's limits, yet it paves the way for the return of timelessness and love's awakening, for fear must slip away under the gentle remedy it brings. So I just thought, when I was reading that first paragraph of the section that we're doing.
Which lesson was that? You're in the workbook?
It was in the workbook for students, and it's not one of the lessons, but it's between lesson 340 and 341.
My pages are different for some reason. 340 and 341.
Yeah, my book is from the early 80s. So it's old. It's
Oh, I
really
got
old.
it now. I'm on the right page. Sorry to bother you.
Awesome,
Okay.
awesome. Yeah, so I was drawn to when I read that first paragraph this morning. I'm like, so what is it we're actually doing here? And really, we're not doing anything. We're just undoing the mind. We're undoing the layers of crap that we have placed on our mind, you know, whether it was brought about by our parents or peers or other family members or friends or the media or society, teachers, whatever, these thoughts, these false thoughts were placed on our mind. So the miracle really is when we can let go of any thoughts and really just come to God with that wholly empty mind. So that's where I'm starting us off today. Who else would like to share what they
Oh,
got from?
I could share a really quick
Yeah, go
thing.
ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, I really love this. I was in a group and that I sort of went back to. Another group I didn't go back to, but anyway, it's somewhere in our reading today. It says, "Don't add fear.
Mhm.
Don't add fear to the dream you're already in."
Yes.
Okay, so and it says if you don't give your support, it'll kind of drift away. Okay, that's what it says. So, but yet I'm afraid. I'm really afraid. So I've been doing something I'm a little chagrined to admit, one of the members likes to kind of create stirs, and I've been around this person for 2.5 years, love them very deeply, but I want to avoid the stir, and I stopped one group, but the other one I want to keep. And I have the privilege of turning the sound down. So I don't know, I don't know how to accept myself doing that. I mean, I don't know. Is that love? Well, I think it is, because why should I have the stir? When you can see it going into where it's going to go, and you can still love them. You just don't, but so anybody want to comment? I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. I think we all could admit that there are things that we do that we're not thrilled about, but you know what? If we're doing it with the mind of God, no matter what it is. And so, as you're turning the volume down on this person that stirs the pot within your soul, bless her, just bless them. My holiness blesses you. And who knows what could happen from that. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with doing that. Go ahead, Nancy Gale, and then Leslie, and then Carol, and then Hamira.
My take is, or my thought on it is, my theme for this year, my thing is acceptance, love, and forgiveness. And then it's like, I'm got to focus on me this year. It's instead of the rest of my life. Everything starts with us, right? So, remember just recently, somebody somewhere, too many things going on. Loving yourself, or loving does not mean allowing others to do anything they want to you, just like Putin's doing whatever he wants. That's, it's like, never mind, let's not go there. But it's like, I was in all this horrible life and all this stuff. And I remember my therapist early on years ago said to me, although it's like, obey your, the Bible says, obey your parents. And my pastor was always saying, you can't talk like that about them. And it's like, fine, it's like, let them do what they want, blah, blah. And it's like, my therapist said, no, he said, loving your parents means to be the best person you can be, that is showing love for your parents. That's honoring your parents by being, being the best you can do. And that means loving yourself and not allowing, and turning the other cheek does not mean you let them do the same thing to you again. It means, I'm not sure, but I know that's what it doesn't mean. I think it was John one day on the thing, he said, just recently I'm doing that little class segment that he's doing. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't mean, loving yourself means treating yourself with respect, treating yourself the way God would treat you, the way Jesus would treat you. And by that, what you're doing is teaching other people how, if you allow them to do stuff, whatever, as an adult, you have choices, but you're teaching them how to treat you, and that it's okay for them to do whatever they're doing. And it doesn't mean you do an eye for an eye thing, but you say, no. And Jennifer always says this, she's over the years, I've heard her say several times, the same thing. It's like you reach a point where you do not, the example with her family, she got to the point where saying, this is not a loving way to be, and this is what I am going to do. And from now on, I am going to be this way, and I'm not going to join the fracas or whatever it is. And you're free to do the same or not. But this is what I'm going to do. So I don't know if that helps, but that's my take on this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly, Nancy Gail. Yeah, because if you're continuing in a relationship where you feel that you are being mistreated or whatever, you're allowing negative karma to be created. And it's not just by the other person that is treating you unkindly, it's by your unkindness, by allowing yourself to be there for them to do that. So yeah, that makes complete sense. Thank you. Leslie, Carol, and then Humira.
Hi, everybody. Marianne Williamson, I remember, I think it was Marianne Williamson said that when you forgive somebody, it doesn't mean you have to take them out to lunch. And I just always love that. It's like, you can forgive somebody and know that they trigger you. And I hear what you're saying, Kathy, because I can get irritated, let me tell you. And it's good because I can see these people as my teachers. I thought this was a great section, and I was going to read the first paragraph, but since Linda did, I won't. I really liked paragraph 8, the first and second sentences. Be not afraid, my child, but let your world be gently lit by miracles. And where the little gap was seen to stand between you and your brother, join him there. And I just have a couple quick little miracles I want to share. One, I went scrapbooking this weekend, and I was trying to finish up the year 2011. And my beloved cat, Pierre, who was my soul cat, who I was 25 when I got him, and my 20s were terrible. And looking back, I do think that it was a special relationship. I always thought, no, it was a holy relationship because I loved him unconditionally and he loved me unconditionally, but he was my source of joy for a long time. It's like he just brought me so much joy and happiness. And when I got him, it didn't occur to me that he was going to pass away before me. I mean, I didn't even think about that. But of course he did when he was 15. And so when I was scrapbooking, he died November 10th of 2010. And so I was scrapbooking, not that I was scrapbooking, I had already done my journal 2011. And it was so full of sadness and heartache. And it was just really, really, it was a rough weekend. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Well, his name was Pierre. And when I got to work on Monday, the first client that called me, her last name was Pierre. And I just thought that was so sweet. And unfortunately, it was a baby that passed away at 24 weeks. And it just brought me some comfort to think of Pierre welcoming this baby and the two of them playing and having fun. And oh, I'm going to make Robin cry. I'm so sorry, honey. It was just, I was so sad, and that brought me so much joy. So that was my first, and I consider that a miracle, because what Pierre's a kind of, it's not that usual of a name, you know. And I remember when I was a kitten and I brought him home to Scott, I'm like, oh, he looks French. We're going to name him Pierre. And he's like, we are. I don't know what a French cat looks like, but it was Pierre. And then my second miracle has more to do with what Kathy said and what this section talked about. And it just happened yesterday. And there was only 3 of us in the office. I'm in my office. I had doors I could have closed, but I chose not to. And 2 other girls were learning something. And I got triggered because I felt left out. And that's a huge pain body for me to know that it's just like, if somebody's having a party, I don't want to go to the party, but you damn well better ask me to go to the party. I mean, I know it's weird, but that's just how I'm an introvert, but I want to feel included. It's weird, I know. So anyway, so these 2 girls are talking, and they've both been there together about 18 months, and I've been there 6 years, you know, and I'm getting pissed. I'm listening to all this stuff, and me being a 2, Linda, you know, I can't help but butt in with my helpfulness, you know. And I was just, and the IT person too, she's kind of like what Kathy said. It's like, do I have a mute button for her? You know, she gets on my nerves, you know. And I one thing I did say in the morning, I almost forgot to share the most important part, is I love the truly helpful prayer that Jennifer talks about. I say it all the time. And, you know, I'm here only to be truly helpful. I am here because God sent me. I am willing to say and do whatever God wants me to do, knowing God goes there with me. Thank you, God, for teaching me to heal as I am healing. You know, I change the words a little bit now and then, but so I mean, I'm getting madder. And I'm hurt, you know, and I know I got tears in my eyes, and I mean, totally overreaction, which is what a pain body is. And you know, I made my 3 comments, and the one sweet girl, she's the sweetest thing. She's like, Leslie, and she wasn't a bitch about it. She's a 9. We all love 9. She was just like, Leslie, we're just trying to tweak it. We'll get there, but just give us a minute, you know? And I was like, you know, I could really help this process. So I'm writing my boss this email, you know, and I'm just like, I was mad. And I was just about to hit send, and the Holy Spirit was like, wait, breathe, wait. And so I clicked the X so it would just go in my draft folder. I'm like, okay, I can send it later. And like 30 minutes later, you know, the one girl came over to my desk and we talked about things, and everything they talked about was what I was going to suggest anyway. And they came to it by themselves. I didn't need to put in my 2 cents. They all came together, and then the one girl, she's hardly ever in the office. So we got to know her a lot better just because she spent a whole day with us. And now I feel like my heart has been open to her. And now I don't want to mute her. Now I want to collaborate with her. And now I'm willing to see the Christ that she is. And I just feel like today, I mean, if I would have sent that letter today, I would have been like, oh my God, I can't believe I sent that letter. I'm so embarrassed. What was I mean, I would have been humiliated and horrified. I would have had to send an apology. And my boss probably would have thought I was nuts, because it wasn't their problem, it was my problem. I was the one that had my pain body triggered. You know, it was all me, had nothing to do with them. So this morning I'm just like, whoa, I didn't send the email, you know, and I was just so happy. And it's so different to be mad at yourself versus being happy with yourself. And I know it's because I say that truly helpful prayer so often. And it is truly helpful because I will know what to say and what to do, because God, who sent me here, will direct me. So I feel like that was a second huge miracle. I really do. So that's my stories.
Yeah, congratulations, Leslie. That's awesome. Yeah, we
Thank
need do
you.
nothing.
We need
So
to do nothing.
I'm so glad you didn't send the email. Just delete it from your deleted from your drafts.
Exactly, because it would not have been helpful to anybody. And now at the end of the day, I did feel included by the end of the day. And it's not like they were excluding me, but they were letting me do my work, which I had a lot. When that was my first trigger, it's like, why is she here on a Monday morning when we're all so busy? That's not practice. She should come in the afternoon, you know. Ugh. So I was very grateful, and I guess proud of myself, and grateful I listened to the Holy Spirit. So,
Yeah.
and really, this was a great section. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
example. Thank you. Carol, then Hamira, and then Tammy.
I shared this earlier when class had just started, but because the topic now really is the miracles, I feel very led to share, because you guys are the oneness with me. I mean, I feel the oneness so intensely through this group, because when I needed you to help me with my surgery, with all that I've gone through in the last few years, you've always been there to pray for me. And in that energy is the oneness. And I felt it very strongly. Well, in these last couple of months, I'm married almost 54 years. And my husband is very, very, very different from me. And over the years, I have contemplated not staying in this marriage because we are so very different. I tend to see the glass half full, and my husband is very different. He's had a lot of trauma in his early life, and I understand that has done a lot to affect his attitude, his thinking, his behavior. Well, I got to a place recently where I felt very, very led to stop. And I remember 2 years ago when COVID started, Jesus did a teaching through Tina Spalding, who I don't know if you know who she is, but she's a channel for him. And he did these 40 days and 40 nights with Jesus, and they were lovely, teaching in the morning, teaching in the evening. And in that, one of the biggest lessons I got was disrupt the pattern. Now, the pattern I'm talking about is a pattern of just very constant negativity, seeing things hard, complaining, not being happy. And I got to a place where I just said, I can't do this relationship anymore. And I love my husband very much, but finally I got to a place where I didn't want the negativity, constantly dealing with. It was getting to be very hard for me. And I said to him, you're hard work, and I don't want to do this hard work anymore. I can't do it. And I'm on the verge of getting a new knee, and I need help and I need support. And so I need you to be away from me for a while. And God really blessed us, because where I am right now is our shore house. It's a barrier island off the coast of New Jersey. And my house, my regular house, is up in the mountains of New Jersey. You guys that really live in the mountains, that you make jokes about the fact that it's really not the mountains, but it is. It's the Appalachian Mountains. But anyway, so I kind of sent him away. And I said, I can't be with you at this point with things the way they are. I'm done. I'm done. And over the last month to 6 weeks, the shift and change, the miracle has been huge, huge. Why? Because my son identified it. He said, because Mom, fear is what got him motivated. He was really afraid finally, because I never left. All those years that I was unhappy, I didn't leave. Suddenly now I'm like, I can't do this. And if it means I have to leave and live separate, I'll do that. Well, it frightened the hell out of him. And he has just become an extremely different person. He feels like God just hit him over the head. And he is now so hungry for learning the things that we learn. He sat in on this class last week. He's not here because he went back home yesterday, because we're going to be now selling our house, which has 3 sets of stairs that I don't want anymore. And we're going to be moving closer to my daughter. And so I said, your assignment is to go start cleaning out the house, make, decisions about things that need to be given away, sold, trashed, kept, whatever. And so that's what he is doing. But I needed to witness this to you guys because, I'm 75 years old. People would think, wow, there's no hope. I mean, hey, after all this time, not true. No rules or regs that the world will tell you about anything means anything when it comes to spirit. God overrules all the stuff the world says, that'll never happen. Oh my God, he'll never change his patterns. Oh no, you just know. We just had the best 2.5 weeks since my surgery because he waited on me hand and foot every single day, no matter what time of the day. And he did it with joy. He did it with such love, such enthusiasm. It was just the most amazing time. And my son agreed the same because my younger son is with me to help me. I have to start PT tomorrow, but I just needed to share that with you because you want to talk miracles. I mean, I was happy and at peace before within myself, but now I feel like I said, I think I want to renew our vows at some point soon because things have changed and so for the better, so light, so full of open-hearted desire to just love. And it's just really, it's quite the most powerful thing I think I've ever experienced, except for awakening myself. So I wanted to share that with you guys because you're part of that oneness. You're part of that energy that shifted in my husband, corrected that correction, that thinking. I put a shift right next to the word correction when I wrote that definition, because he shifted so it's like 180. I mean, he wants to read all my books. He wants to listen to all my classes. He's doing a Marianne Williamson. She just started a couple of weeks ago. She had a 7-hour, I think, lesson, and she did like a 45-minute free intro to it. When I listened to it, the first thing I thought of was my husband, Charles, his name is, and he is just loving it. He's absolutely love. Marianne says this and Marianne says that, and he's just adorable with it. It's precious. It really, really is. So he's on his way, and I just wanted to share that with you because you are all a part of that miracle. You truly are. Without your loving energy, helping me and keeping me, going and not quitting, it wasn't the right time. This was the time. And so I just want to encourage all of us to don't ever lose hope about anybody in your life. Do not.
Yeah.
I don't care what it looks like. I mean, I really, it doesn't matter because it's all going on inside. It's all going on, in there. And we cannot know that. We cannot know. So just love you. I wanted to share that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Carol.
It is.
so
It is.
much.
It's the best.
Thank you so much. Miracles abound. Amira, I
Yep.
see you lowered your hand, but I'm not sure. Would you still be willing
Yeah,
to
yeah. Hi, Linda. Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you. Yeah, I feel I'm called to listen. I love you, Leslie. I love your stories. And I just, I'm getting so much out of listening to everybody. And so
Okay. All right. Then Tammy and then Mark.
Sorry, I was trying to get the mic. Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Hi, Carol. So happy to see you and hear that you're doing well. So I wanted to share a little miracle. First off, I'm going to tell you this. I'm just got this message from this person. I think if you guys were in Sacred Sacred Circle a couple weeks ago. I was meeting like a client, like my first client, and she was just going through a divorce, crazy divorce, and I didn't know I was having like real self-doubt. And I didn't know like why Spirit wanted me to be there. But she just sent me this beautiful message, even though she did not work with me, because, you know, it was too much of a financial commitment for her. She joined my my newsletter that I send out, and I often send out, you know, our forgiveness letters and stuff, the forgiveness letter, and she's been using them. And so she just sent me this beautiful message of how free she feels, and just thanking me for putting her on this path of forgiveness. And she's telling me that it's just such a liberating way to think about things, and it's such a gift to feel so free. So I just wanted to share that, because to me that is a miracle too, when we accept the forgiveness, when we open our heart to the forgiveness. So, you know, when I was reading this chapter this morning, what came to mind when I was reading the part, I don't have my book right close to me right now, about the waves and that space, that gap between. It reminded me recently of something that happened to my son. My son got in trouble. You guys know this whole transformation relationship with my son. He got in trouble. Him and his friend, he said he was going to the gym, which he did. There were too many people there at the basketball court. So he and this friend that he have never played with, never hung out with before, he came from school and said, okay, he's going to hang out with this guy. I left him. I said, okay, fine. I wanted to know who the child was. He was a child who played football with him, who lived in my community as well. So they went to to play basketball. I got a knock on the door, and it is the police. And my first thing is like, oh my God, what is up? And the officer was like, don't be too scared. Nothing is wrong, but your son, Christian, just did something really stupid. Him and his friend left the complex to go to another gym without even me knowing, and decided that they would tamper with somebody's package that they saw in front of their house. And so, you know, the guilt and that sort of shame as a parent, having to deal with that, especially as a Black mom living in the United States. And I got into the car because I had to go meet him, and, you know, up the block, not like 4 minutes away from the house. And I'm just in fear. But something came over me where I knew I had the opportunity to, or I had this choice I can make, where I can ask Holy Spirit and I can ask God to help me with this. Because one of the things I do is I co-parent my child with my kids with Spirit. And somehow, Spirit, you had to come in right now and help me with this. Like, you know, I'm not just saying you're co-parent, I'm co-parenting with you just to say it. Like, you have to show me right now. And by the time I said that prayer and I got to my son, I can feel this. It felt as if I was a completely different person. You know, I didn't feel the need to shame my son. I didn't feel the need to have this extra tantrum, the antics of making it all about myself, which have been my pattern in the past. I felt the need to have compassion. I felt the need to do nothing. You know, and I am driving, I'm like, I'm really having this experience where I'm talking my son through it. And what I realize is that all these years, I've just been punishing my son out of my own guilt. And what does punishment do? Punishment hold us in that sin, in that, you know, believing that we have sin. So it seems like we can just never get it right. And I just felt like I needed to walk my son through that to help him correct, right? And I also the miracle was, for me also, was my son never learned a darn thing when I made it about me. You know what I mean? When I am just blaming myself, or you making me feel like a bad mom, you making me look like a bad mom, or you making me do this, you having the community look at me this way. How it turns on me, like it's all about me. And my son never got the opportunity to really see the mistakes and to correct it. And when I was reading about this passage, I said that little gap is where we have the choice to partner up and ask for help. And sometimes I know for sure, I still do miss that little gap, that little space where we can really acknowledge the miracle, when we can really call upon a miracle. And that was just so miraculous for me to parent my son in that way and just move off that pattern of guilting him and shaming him. And we had this beautiful conversation where we talked about the whole thing. And my son was like, Mom, you know, I knew I should have called you, and I did. He did call, and my phone was off. And I said, and he said, but I just went on my way when you didn't call, when you didn't answer, I couldn't get a hold. And we talked about listening to the intuition. I said, you see how your intuition told you that you need to let your mom know where you are. You need to let your mom know where you're going, you know. And so now I'm just helping him to listen to that little voice that say, I should let my mom know, or I should turn away, you know. And we talk, and yeah, I want to give everybody a chance, but that was just an incredible miracle for me for myself, and just also to, yeah, I felt it from my son as well, you know, because I felt like now he understood what, that there's no sin, that I don't, you know, have to guilt him. You know, you can change, you can correct it, you can choose to not make those decisions, you know. But I felt like in the past, just holding him in this shame and this, oh, you're such a bad person. What else would he give me, you know? So that's my little miracle. And yeah, I love that chapter, actually.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tammy. That's beautiful. I mean, really, because I can just imagine myself when my son was that age and I was younger. I was not obviously as doing the studies that I'm doing now. And I mean, I could see myself just blowing up and, you know, what do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? And feeling the shame of his actions as being a reflection on me. And what an egotistical thought that is, isn't it? Holy
Yeah.
cow. Yeah.
Yes,
What a
for sure.
beautiful miracle. Thank you for sharing it. Yeah. Mark, and then Carla.
Yeah. Hey guys. I'm gonna put my hand down because otherwise I forget. Yeah, I wanted to share some self-reflection after the last meeting, because you know, I said some things about, you know, what was the, yeah, it was about like the dream, and we're the dreamer, and so on, and at the end, after the meeting, I had some, well, I had some kind of a bad feeling about it, and so I sat with myself and thought, and like evaluating, going through what's happening here, and it felt like guilt. So when I'm thinking about it, I, you know, in a way, I didn't say bad things or things that are not true, but when I'm looking at it honestly, there was some ego in it when I was telling about well, my experience is like, oh, sometimes it's so obvious, and then and there were some people who didn't really have that kind of experience, and so I guess in it, like, there was some ego in it, like maybe in a way it felt like it was not totally that, but there was some bit of like maybe showing off in it, and I wanted to share that because that's something that I don't want to bring into this group. So and I think it's very important that we can that we can bring but that we can be open, and just noticing this in me, I thought it would, I don't know, maybe that's also an ego thing, and then you have to forgive me for this, that I'm bringing up this now. But I think like I wanted to share it because I want to bring every ego thing also to the surface, and so that we can shine it away. And if you're hiding something like that, that's not a good thing. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
There we go. Thank you so much, Mark. I did not get that sense from you at all, but I'm so grateful that you are courageous enough to bring that you were feeling that afterwards, and that you just want to shine the light on it, and claim your glory, man. Just claim it. You're being the miracle. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I want to just one sentence. Just want to share that I'm very grateful to be. I'm just quite new here. It's the third time, so I'm very grateful to be a part of this group. It's really nice, and yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're glad you're here with us. Absolutely. Thank you. Carla, and then Grace, and then Derwin.
Okay, so I'm just gonna bring something up for healing that I can feel kind of twinged it. So I'm in Colombia, and they don't change the time here. So I've been late for several things because I'm just for months I've been thinking one thing, and now it's different. I don't know how people in Arizona do it when the rest of the freaking country changes the time, but they stay the same. I'm like, I will never move to Arizona. That's it. So I don't really, usually I wait until I'm prompted, somebody says something or a reading, but this is what I feel. I don't know where I read this, but I've known it for years somehow, that this was the last thing that Jesus ever did. And I'm like, what? It wasn't clear what it was, but I think I'm clear now. It was listening to his inner guidance, listening to spirit, listening to the oneness, whatever you want to call it. So, and I'm sharing this not because to scare you or anything, because I'm like, oh gosh, that's gonna be hard. Because I was thinking years ago, there's no way I could do that. But you know what? I'm doing it more now. We're practicing. That's what this life, this human being life is. We're spirits. We're the truth, the essence, whatever, God's self, whatever you call it, having a human experience. And because of my senses, it sounds like a judgment, but that I know it happened for me. I got very far away from my inner wisdom, my higher self. for years, I tried to stomp down the guidance because I didn't want to hear it because it went awry with whatever ego was filling my mind with. So that's why we're here. We're here to love too, but that is the love to hear, to live from your true self, to follow the guidance. Because there was many times when I first started becoming aware of guidance, I would be like, oh, you know, there could be babies up there. And I'm like, no, I want it gone. I want it this way. I want it that, because I was so used to following ego. That's common. We're taught to be ourselves and to have boundaries or to follow your what you want or whatever. And it's sometimes what I, Carla, the ego wants is not the guidance. It's, no, I'm not gonna do that. No way. But now I'm learning to trust it and to trust myself in whatever I choose. So I don't have the book with me, but I have a poem I want to read before we finish. That's okay, Linda. And I'm going to go look for it, but thank you. I just, don't worry. Don't worry about what you choose or what your children choose or how you feel. If it's not love, it's not real. It's something trying to distract you away from your true self. And that's what I've been learning. What is the most loving choice I could make here? And oftentimes it's the most loving choice for me because we're not separate from others. We're all part of the oneness. So I'm grateful. I was asked this week, there's one thing, something I'd like to change, go back 10 years, and what would you want to change? I'm like, I wouldn't want to change anything. Because if I changed any one thing, it could change where I am now. I'm happy with the way I am now. I wouldn't want to change anything. And I accept myself and all my error choices and all my less than most loving choices. And that is the healing to love. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Beautiful. Yeah. Grace, and then Derwin.
Thank you, Carla. I'm very happy with the way you are now too. You're beautiful, radiant. And thank you, Mark. That was great. And thank you, Leslie, and everybody else, and Carol. Wonderful sharing. I don't know how relevant this is, but I'm staying with my daughter at the moment. She's a therapist, and I can hear her working. She works a suicide hotline as well, and I can hear her working with her clients. And she told me it's okay to share this stuff. She's got one client who's 90. When she was babysitting a brother when she was 10, he had an accident and died. Her mother blamed her for it. Then when she was 12, her father died in the front yard when he was working on the lawn. Then when he was 20, she was 26. She wasn't feeling well. They discovered that she once upon a time, when she was in her mother's womb, had a twin. The twin was growing inside of her now. So she had to have everything removed and she could never have children. Anyway, that's just the first 25 years of her life. And I heard my daughter talking to her, and my daughter knows mainly to just listen and love. But I thought, if I didn't have spirit in my life, and I don't have stuff like that going on, but I've had stuff, and we all get stuff. What a difference it is to know how safe we are, how we don't need to be fearful. And my daughters don't have a spiritual life yet, and that's another thing one day I'd love to talk about, but all I can do is walk the talk. But I wish they had my surety, my lack of fear, and the knowledge that we're just all cradled in the arms of God. But I might have to just let that one go. But it just made me feel so grateful that I have somebody to fall back on, that I feel safe all the time, that I have this group, and I don't overthink it. I don't think about anything. I just dumb down all the time and just go, I'm going to leave that to spirit. I'm not even going to think about that. I'm not even going to worry about that. I just dumb down. I don't know anything, and it keeps me in a place of joy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Grace. Yeah, I completely understand that sense of dumbing down, because I feel that sometimes, like when I'm not paying attention to what's going on in the news, but I know that it's my guidance not to do that, because focus on the light and the darkness will take care of itself. Yeah, thank you, Grace. Derwin.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here again. I just want to smallly comment on Tammy. I love your reflections as a mom, and the same counts for you as well, Chris. When you reflect as a mom, I must say I heal from my own special relationship with my mom just by listening to you. And then a few minutes ago, I thought, I wish my mom was in this group to reflect on a few things about her son. But yeah. Mark, I just wanted to say, last week when you were speaking, there was like this this joy as well that I felt from you. And to me, it was no ego at all. While you were speaking today, I saw here in paragraph 7 of our chapter of this week, count then the silver miracles and golden dreams of happiness. And I felt like what you expressed last week was also like a silver miracle and golden dream once you get it. Because I think many of us have, when we read a few things, we get it and then we don't get it. So I see those as a silver lining or a golden dream. So I like that sentence, and I connected it to what you said. I love this chapter indeed as well. It's I could understand it better compared to the one we had last week. One small thing that I have as a question, see if just to see if I'm on the same page as what my mind or so. In paragraph 3, so it basically says in the third sentence, do not allow your brother to be sick, for if he is, have you abandoned him to his own dream by sharing it with him? So kept flipping here. What do I do then? Should I express my love to him, say we're one, or just not share my dream? I'm not so sure here what I should do. So I was just wondering if anyone has like a, maybe I'm not seeing it, but what do I do instead?
Well, I can answer that just from a perspective of what I've been taught in my spiritual counseling teachings, because what we're doing when we're holding space for someone is really just that. We are allowing them to speak what is on their heart. And no matter what challenge they are bringing up to us, we are knowing and holding their divine innocence and perfection. And so, but that doesn't mean that if somebody is sharing, like what Grace was talking about, what her daughter was experiencing on the hotline, I wouldn't just say, well, honey, this is all just a dream and none of that ever happened. So, get over yourself. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be loving and, just say things that express that I understand where you're coming from. I'm sorry that you're feeling that way. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me, right? The Ho'oponopono teaching. So, and I questioned that too, Derwin. So you're not the only one, because I'm also right now doing Lisa Natoli's Healing Cure. I just started it last week, and so I'm curious about that. Like, do not allow your brother to be sick, for if he is, have you abandon him to his own dream by sharing it with him. And I'm just curious, and I'm thinking I might bring this up in class tomorrow with Lisa. Like, so I have this seeming appearance of diabetes and high blood pressure in this body right now. So does this mean that I should not take medical treatment? I don't think it does. But am I affirming them then that I am sick? So like, where it just kind of boggles the mind, and my brain is like playing ping pong in there going, am I sick? I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I'm perfect. Don't take the medicine. Take the medicine. What are you doing? Don't go to the doctor. So so I totally get that. But I am in a place of holding and affirming the divine perfection and innocence, no matter what the bodily appearance, and accepting what is. And, I may have decided that this is the experience that I want to have in this lifetime. So who am I to judge it? I don't know the reason for it. So I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to accept it the way that it is, but I am going to possibly, if I get the opportunity, ask Lisa Natoli about it tomorrow, because there is that ping-ponging ego thing going on in my brain about it. So yeah, that's what I have to say about it. Phil. And then Robin.
Might not have time. Go ahead, Jill.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up, and thank you everyone. I know I came in late, but about the medication and Lisa, what you said, and I know that Lisa has said in the past, do whatever you need to do. If you have to take the medication, take the medication. But also, I think where I am feeling more of this is not to be in that separation. It was even when I was going to take, debating whether I should take the vaccine, and somebody said to me, could you see God in the vaccine? So I'm applying the same thing. And what you're talking about, Linda, right now, it's so relevant to me, because I am in that place where my thyroid is, because I had stopped all the medication and I went on to supplement, and it is off the chart. And they even surprised that I'm not in bed, depressed under the covers. And that this is where I feel the miracle is for me, is me connecting with my divinity, not trying to make myself or anybody, any medication wrong. And I'm in the same place, Linda, as you are, in that I have been ping-ponging. Like, should I take this medication? Shouldn't I take it? Oh, this is, but one thing that this whole experience have taught me is to ask. And I am not sure whatever I'm getting, I'm following that. And this is an example of that. So she prescribed me 2 medication, the person who never takes any medication. And then, you know, I go to pick it up and I'm not sure whether I want to take the second one. But I said, God, you have to hit me on my head and show me, because I don't get it. So I go to pick up the medication, and exactly the medication that I was hesitating to take, they tell me, oh, it's not there. We don't have it yet. We will give it later. And so she said, do you want to take one or do you want to wait and take both together? I said, no, I'll take the one that is ready. And it has been like 5 days. I've not gone back to get it, and I don't intend to get it. And then I said, oh God, is this true, or am I making this story up? And give me another signal. And I was given another signal to say, call this person. And I'm like, no, she's not a doctor. Call this person. Otherwise, why are you asking me? I call the person. This person says, I run this endocrinology clinics, so I know what you're talking, and I had the same problem. What a miracle for me, and that I get to share it with you guys. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for.
Oh, thank you, Phil. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Robin.
Thank you, everybody. You've already said it. I think the difference is we are in this physical form, and I'm talking about being ill and needing drugs. And the difference is that we, as best we can, we do what we think we can to correct something, but we can always come back to spirit. And we are being carried because we come back to spirit. We're doing something we're not really sure, but we keep coming, we keep asking, we keep praying. And I think the just coming back over and over and over helps us really be led and guided. It's sort of like my husband hurt his leg, and we've been praying, and we're like, do we go to the doctor? Do we not go to the doctor? And we're praying together, which is really sweet. And the first 3 weeks of my prayer was, here's the problem. I'm handing it over, and I'm not going to worry about this because it gets scary, really. And I got to a place of just feeling like I was being carried. We both decided we're not going to worry. Now we're still in this form, and it takes a lot to let go and dumb down. I love that. I'm going to use that. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. So I want to let Carla read her poem as our closing, but I did want to let you know that we are going to continue in chapter 28, section 4, the greater joining. And then I will, I'll post the Pathways of Light insights for the lesson that I'm on today in our WhatsApp group. So go ahead, Carla.
Thank you, Linda. It made me so happy.
Yeah.
So the poem is called God's Ministry. God's ministry is my ministry. My ministry is God's ministry. And how does that look? By extending love, by reacting to every choice anyone makes with love, with kindness, with acceptance. Maybe not accepting or bracing the energy behind the action, especially if it is not loving. It's about accepting the choice, allowing the choice, loving the person making the choice. Not because we agree with the choice, a judgment, but because we know that however fast or slow, whatever choice they make, they learn from. and that every choice that is ever made is woven into the very fabric of life to bring us good. So that is a ministry, to allow whatever choices anyone makes, not by supporting the choice, but by extending love in response to whatever choice anyone makes, including ourselves. That is God's ministry. That is my ministry. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Caller.
Yeah, thank you for your shares. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your miracles and your insights. I love you all so much. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye, Linda. Bye, everybody.
No prayer out, Linda.
Bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda, what was the name of the person, Lisa who, that is in the Healing Cure?
Oh, Lisa Natoli,
How do you spell Natoli? Natole?
Natoli.
Okay, thank you.